Morning.
First item, apologies for absence.
Councillor Drake, Councillor Shaw and Area Manager Dean Loader.
Thank
Can
you.
I give Councillor Sue Malson as well, please?
Yes, thank you. Item 2, roll call.
Thank you, Chair. I'll do that for you. Councillor Ali.
I'm present.
Hello. Councillor Colbrand.
Yes, I thought I was going to be late, but I am here now. So.
Wonderful. Good morning. Councillor Ellsbury.
Hi, good morning. I'm here.
Good morning. Councillor Evans.
I'm here, as you can tell.
Good morning. Councillor Hodgins. Councillor Hodgins, no. Councillor Holmes.
Yes, I'm with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hussey.
Yes, present.
Thank you. Councillor Jarvie.
Yes, present.
Thank you. Good morning. Councillor Lister. I can't see Councillor Lister. Councillor Norton.
Here.
Morning. Councillor Roberts. Thank you. You were on mute then, but I could hear you earlier, Councillor Roberts, and I can't see you. And Councillor Thomas.
Present.
Lovely. That's roll call completed, Chair.
Thank you. Item 3, declarations of interest. Are there any? No? No? Okay. Item 4, chairperson's announcements. Well, I'm sure she'd like to say how nice it is in Dubai at the moment. Item 5, the minutes of the HR and Equalities meeting on the 24th of January. Could I have a mover and seconder for those, please?
I move that, Chair.
I'll second, Chair.
Thank you.
Chairman, I'm sorry, I had my hand up, but I don't think it's come through.
No, I can't see it. Yes?
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. Could I just point out that in the minutes of the last meeting, I was present, but I'm not mentioned on the 24th of January, but my name isn't mentioned at all. And I was present, so could they be corrected, please?
Yes, I'm sure we'll get that altered. Thank you, Councillor Jarvie.
And the other thing is, Madam Chairman, I'm sorry, but I have to leave within half an hour. I've got to go to Somerset.
Oh,
so I can't be at the meeting in the car, unfortunately.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Jarvie. Right, the reports for decision item 6. It's the gender pay gap, and that's A.C. Allison-Reid taking this report.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Morning, members. This is our annual report on our gender pay gap. As you will know, we must publish the gender pay gap for the service by the 30th of March each year. The data looks at a snapshot of pay data as at the 31st of March of the previous year. So this is 31st of March 2021 data. Appendix 1 contains the report itself. What you will have noticed is there is a slight widening of the gender pay gap for March 2021. As noted in the report, there are varying reasons for this, why this has happened. One may include the fact that we were navigating our way through a global pandemic, and throughout the last 2 years we have offered increases in contracts to our existing staff, so that may well have generated and contributed to this slight increase in the gender pay gap. Other reasons, as you will know, dependent on the number of males and females employed in the organisation as at the point in time with which the data is drawn. So there are many different reasons as to why the gap has increased again this year. What I will say is we are maintaining our approach to try to reduce the gender pay gap, and some of that activity includes our approaches to our recruitment and attraction strategies. What I can tell you is in our most recent whole-time recruitment so that we've just recently closed application stage for whole-time firefighters, and we have seen an increase by 2% in the number of female applicants coming through at the very first stage. We've also seen an increase in the numbers of ethnic minority background individuals coming through by just over 2%. So we are starting to see a shift in the gender and ethnicity of our applicants, but as we know, there are many different factors affecting the numbers as at the point in which we draw the data down. I'll stop there and I'll take any questions or comments. I guess the only other thing to flag with you, which is in the report, is the job evaluation outcomes. We are still working through the appeal stage for our job evaluation exercise. So we haven't yet reviewed the gender impact of the outcomes of that exercise. But of course, that wouldn't affect this score. That will come into play in future gender pay gap reports. And I'll pause for questions.
Thank you, Alison. Councillor Dilroy, you wanted to speak?
Chair. Thank you, Chair. I just want to know, you mentioned about the 2% from the BME community application. Do you have the breakdown, how many applications received from Cardiff or other part of our area? Because I did a lot of work in Cardiff with the other community to encourage them to on that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Alison?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Councillor Ali. Those figures are hot off the press because we've only recently closed the application stage. What I will do, though, is once we've done some fuller analysis, I will happily share that with you directly, Councillor Ali, if that's okay, so you can see if your efforts have made an impact.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your kind update. Thank you.
Thank you.
I understand we got a further report in March as well coming along, so perhaps at the next meeting, if we still you.
Yes, Councillor. Yes, so the gender pay gap is ratified each year by Fire Authority. So we can, if the data is ready by that time, I can add to the analysis, but it depends on where we are in terms of pulling out the data.
Okay, thank you. Any other member? No, I can't see anybody. Right then, if we could take a vote on that one then.
I'll move, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Seconded?
Yeah, I'll second that, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Ali.
Favour?
Thank you. Councillor Colbrand.
Yes, in favour.
Thank you. Councillor Ellsbury.
In favour.
Thank you. Councillor Evans.
Yeah, in favour.
Councillor Holmes.
In favour.
Thank you. Councillor Hussey.
In favour.
Councillor Jarvie.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Norton.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Roberts.
For.
Thank you. And Councillor Thomas.
In favour. Sorry for that.
Thank you, Councillor Thomas. Lovely. That was unanimous. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. If we can go on to item 7 then, the firefighters pension scheme. Alison, if we could take that.
Thank you, Chair. So as you will know, the HR and Equalities Committee reviews Welsh Government circulars relating to firefighter pensions. The only additional update that we've received this year is the FRS 2021-11. This is about pension account estimates. In Appendix 1, you will see the action that's been taken in relation to this circular So it has been shared with our exec team and our finance team, and Welsh Government was seeking information about the account estimates, and that information was supplied by the deadline of the 17th of December 21 by our finance teams. So I'm asking the HR and Equalities Committee to receive this latest circular and note the action that's been taken with it.
Thank you, Alison. Any members? No? Can we note this then?
Yeah, move we note it, yeah.
Seconded?
Second that, Chair.
Thank you. Item 8. If we can go on to the summary of the HR training reports. And Alison, you taking this one?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So this report contains a summary of the activity of the HR and Equalities Committee. In the appendix attached, there's Appendix 1, Appendix 2 and Appendix 3. You will see the activity and the reports that the committee has considered throughout the last year. Just wanted to say thank you ever so much for your support and input to the reports that have come for discussion, and just reflecting on the reports that you've received and discussed. There's quite a lot of activity in the last year that has been considered by the committee, and I just really wanted to flag a few areas. I know the appendix are self-explanatory, but just really the amount of activity that we've discussed. For example, the new performance appraisal that we call performance review process that was launched April last year, so important for the service and such a step change in terms of its approach, considering individuals' performance and behaviours, and also through a digital platform. So that was a really big piece of work for us. The pay policy statement document that you review, scrutinise and agree every year, so important for setting the policy on pay each year going forward. The standard items around occupational health, absence management, discipline and grievance. Again, these are so important for us in terms of your awareness of the activity that's ongoing. The gender pay gap report, the one that we've just discussed, the health and wellbeing and mental health strategy work, again, also important for the service. You supported our move towards becoming a real living wage accredited service, so thank you for that. You've scrutinised our people plan and supported and discussed the content there. And the establishment structure update is an annual report that we bring to you, and you considered structure changes. Recruitment and attraction, again, so important in terms of our whole-time recruitment, and our learning pathways, which is on the agenda for this month, and Andrew will cover that off. Just turning to the training reports, the Investors in People review and reports. As you'll know, we improved our standard from silver to gold for our People Award, and we were one of the first organisations in Wales to apply for the new wellbeing standard, and we achieved silver straight off in that award. The training and development activities and the apprenticeships, again, have received your support, so thank you for that. And then on the diversity and Welsh language report, you have reviewed our Welsh language report. Andrew will pick up this one later on in the agenda. The strategic equality plan updates and work on our socio-economic duty. So just really to say thank you ever so much from me for your support and input, and a reflection on the last year, which has been really busy. And I'll stop there.
Thank you. And yes, we certainly have had a busy year, and we've had many reports come through, which successfully we've gone through. Any member?
Councillor Evans is
Yeah. On Appendix 3, where with the review of the I can never get it, socio-economic duty, is there a timeline from Welsh Government we've got to put everything in place and start reporting? Can you remind me when that's going to be, and what sort of report or what sort of thing we put into Welsh Government regarding that as a service?
Alison?
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Evans. So we have introduced our work on the duty, and we've made adjustments to our working practices. So we've now introduced an integrated assessment where, when decisions are made, we review from a socio-economic perspective. In terms of the formal reporting, I believe you're right. I think that's looming, and I've got a feeling it's probably sometime in the year ahead. But we started our activity on this last year, so that we positioned ourselves to be in a good place in order to capture some of our decisions. I'm just going to have a quick scan to see if I can find out, and Andrew, you may be able to add to as well in terms of the timeframes for formal reporting.
So, certainly we'll report into the HR and Equalities Committee now in the first meeting of the next year, which will be in June, I'm thinking, which will be reflective then of the first year's performance under the new socio-economic duty. So there will be a report coming to this committee once this financial year has elapsed.
Okay.
No, thanks for that. It's just that there must be an immense amount of work to go into that report, considering the timelines they've given you, so I don't envy you with that difficult task.
Thank you, Councillor Evans. Anyone else wish to speak? No? If we could have a move we note then on this.
I move that, Chair, then.
Second?
Yes, Chair, Dilwar here.
Thank you. If we could go on to item 9 then. Update on learning and development pathways, and Serena Ford to take this, I believe.
I'll pick this up if I may, Chair. Serena Ford is in sunny Cyprus as we speak. So I said I pick up this particular report. Good morning, members. This report covers off the progress that we've made against the services new approach to employee development, as you'll be aware, termed learning and development pathways, is something that we've been working on for the last 12 to 18 months, and it's going to start coming to fruition later on this year. So just a quick overview of where we are in essence. Learning and development pathways, as you'll be aware, is to ensure that the development of every employee within the service to reach their full maximum potential, whether that is to remain in their existing role or whether they wish to progress through the structure within the organisation. I'd say they've been mapped against the new NFCC leadership framework, so we tie it into the national theme. The pathway is split into two separate routes, that is maintaining excellence for those individuals who wish to remain in role, and for growing excellence for those that wish to progress, as I say, through the management structure. At this moment in time, we've got what we term the assessment and development centred approach, which can be seen as quite a binary approach in terms of pass and fail. This new approach is more reflective of the training that individuals undergo throughout their career and throughout the year, will in essence end in a portfolio assessment type environment. So those individuals who have undergone the respective development activities throughout the year will come in front of a board to demonstrate the level of development they've undertaken. And I think it's gone down well with the employees in the very brief informal communications we've put out to date. But to support the implementation of this is a significant shift for the organisation. Is quite a large project, and there's some mini projects there which are indicated in 225 as to be complementary, if you like, to the introduction of learning and development pathways. In terms of the rollout, as I said, later this year, we will be launching it in formally, but certainly from April on now, so in just over 4 to 5 weeks' time, we'll be communicating with the organisation and giving them an indication of of when the respective pathways are due to be launched and how that will impact on themselves. So as you'll notice later this year, autumn 22, the entry level, so this is individuals at the lower level, firefighters wanting to be supervisory managers and the equivalent in terms of corporate personnel. That'll be launched later this year, and then early next year, then the middle and the strategic level pathways will be launched as well. There's a bit of work for us to do as an organisation to make sure that we morph from assessment development centres into learning and development pathways as seamlessly as possible. But in essence, certainly into 2024, there will be constant review and feedback to make sure that the outcomes and the results are what we are hoping to achieve from this, as I say, quite a significant and quite an exciting shift change in the way in which we develop our employees. And that's pretty much it. We'll come back to you on a fairly regular basis to update you as to where we are. But as I say, quite a significant change within the organisation coming this year in terms of employee development.
Thank you, Andrew. Yes, I know you say there's some way to go on this, but so far this is an excellent piece of work. Is there any member who's to comment?
Yeah. I'd like to commend the service. On previous reports of HR, the tremendous work during COVID they've done with training and development of Cardiff Gate. I mean, you know, other people will be doing hardly anything, and looking to our record, you know, pass on my congratulations to the staff and everything, the tremendous work they've done during that difficult time. So thank you.
Yeah. Any other member? No? If we could have somebody to move we note then, please.
I
Move, Chair.
Second.
Thank you. If we can go on to item 10 then, the Welsh Language Standards Update. Andrew, I believe you're taking this as well.
Yeah, certainly, Councillor Roberts. Yeah, members will be aware of our legal obligation under the Welsh Language Standards, and it's appropriate for us to report into this committee on a regular basis. You'll be aware that there are Is that Welsh? Okay.
Double Dutch.
Carry on, Sam.
Yeah, that's fine.
Members will be aware from the traffic light system at 2.3. You'll be familiar with these, but the one that we had in the red category, that was associated with our social media activities and the ability to put those out bilingually. These have subsequently been reassessed as being compliant, so that's why we have no standards under the red category anymore, which is a significant step forward for us. If I could just draw your attention to 2.6, the Welsh Language Commissioner carried out a series of checks on the service's compliance between the months of June and September. This was undertaken covertly. It was undertaken without our prior knowledge. And it was very, very pleasing to note the outcome of that compliance review. If I could refer you to page 97, the last paragraph, which actually states the compliance officer's response to myself and Deborah there, Deborah Howell, who works in the HR team, who's responsible for a lot of the work we do under the Welsh Language Standards. And I just highlighted the key words there. You've performed very well as an organisation and should be proud of the results, which was very pleasing to note. We've complied with the requirements of making sure our annual monitoring report is on our website, and that this was published back in September. And it just gives an indication there of number 3 implications as to the activities that the services continue to undertake. As Councillor Evans highlighted there, it's been a difficult couple of years. Some activities have stopped altogether, some have been reduced. So So we've been fortunate in that we're still able to be part of forums, if you like, that are continuing to work through this last couple of years, albeit that some of the organisations where individuals would go to learn the language of Welsh, so some of those have closed, or as I say, restricted in the opportunities they offer up. So the numbers aren't as great as they would be normally. And I dare say other individuals, certainly in the last 12 to 18 months, they've had other things going on in their lives, and possibly they are pausing any ambitions they may have to learn a new language. But certainly it's a positive response from the Welsh Language Commission and their respective compliance officers, which was pleasing to note.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Any member? No? Do we know the overall percentage? Hello? Do we know what...
Sorry, Councillor Roberts. After you commented, Councillor Norton's indicating.
Sorry, I do apologise. If it's okay, I can just ask a couple of quick questions. So thank you for the report, Chair, and thank you for the officers for the report. Obviously, it mentions in the standards, obviously, we're compliant with hybrid meetings. I just wanted to double check. So obviously, with hopefully COVID, the worst of COVID past us, we won't have to have big public meetings online. But if we did have to have meetings to the public online, wouldn't there be ability to do Welsh translation? Because I know not all the meeting softwares support obviously Welsh translation, while some do. And that's it really.
Okay, thank you. Andrew, any response to that?
Andrew's just handing over to me briefly to answer this one. So if we were to hold a public meeting, obviously our fire authority meetings are exempt through the legislation, so we aren't required to hold our fire authority meetings in medium of Welsh. However, if we're holding a public meeting, what we would do beforehand would be to ask the attendees that we're aware of if any of them would like to receive that meeting in the medium of Welsh. And then according to the standards, if we meet the thresholds, then we would make arrangements for meetings to be held bilingually and or to have simultaneous translation available. That would be done and prepared in advance. And just to add a little more richness to the picture, we recently held an interview in the medium of Welsh because the candidate requested it to be done so, and we facilitated that as an organisation, which was an interesting but very rewarding challenge for us.
Thank you. Glyn Holmes?
Thank you, Madam Chair. What was just stated by the officer, what would the potential costs be on translation? Bearing in mind that it would be just for a small, very small number, I would have thought. But let me make it quite clear, not against the Welsh language, but I just think of imposing costs, maybe needlessly. Thank you.
Yes, the costs to provide simultaneous translation are surprisingly reasonable, and we have a number of people on our framework that we can go to. We may be talking in the region of a couple of £100 maximum. It's not an overbearing cost, but we would have to meet the threshold for that. But we do have budget available should that be necessary.
Can I just come back there? I note you say the word reasonable. There's many interpretations of the word reasonable, but you did correct the situation by saying £200 odd. Can I hold you to that? No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
But when we checked for the interview, that was roughly what we were talking about there. But we ended up doing it fully in Welsh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other member Now, one question I'd like to know is, do we know the overall percentage of the workforce that are actually quite fluent in Welsh?
Councillor Roberts, we do have that information available. I don't have it in the report at this moment in time, but I can come back to you with that information. The one thing that we are seeking to increase is the number of employees that have completed the page on the core HR system to indicate their ability of speaking Welsh, whether they can speak Welsh or whether they can understand the written word. And there's a lot of individuals that haven't completed that. So whilst we do have percentage figures, it's not as reflective of the overall workforce as I would want it to be. But that is an area that we continue to push with individuals. But I'll certainly get you the information of the number of fluent speakers that are in the organisation.
Thank you. Councillor Holmes, you wanted to come back in?
Yeah, can I just substantiate the reason why I'm asking that, Madam Chair? As you know, I'm a surveyor. Many times I am undertaking survey work on commercial properties in Wales, fire doors or smoke doors. There are metal plates where in England it says fire door keep shut. In Wales, you've got the Welsh translation. And these signs are quite costly just on their own in the English language. And there's always added cost, and I always maintain everybody understands the word fire run like hell. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Holmes. No other member? If we could have somebody to move, we note this report then.
Move, Chair.
Second? Somebody second?
I'll second then, Chair.
Thank you. If we could go on to item 11 then, the recruitment, attraction and engagement strategy, Andrew?
Yes, I'll pick this up, Councillor Roberts again. Yes, this is a report really outlining our recruitment, attraction, engagement strategy going forward, and some information of some recent recruitment campaigns also. You'll notice that the previous whole-time duty system campaign for firefighter recruitment, we received over 3,000 applications. It's always been up in the high 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 on occasions in previous years. So it's certainly the attraction of full-time firefighting has never been an issue for us. And even at firefighter control recruitment, we had over 400 applications. So certainly in a very changing employment market, it's been great to see that level of interest in our becoming a member of our organisation. We've used the core HR online application form. You'll be aware of our purchase of the new core system and the development. That has certainly streamlined the process for those vacancy adverts that attract significant numbers of applications. So there's a lot of saving in terms of time and paper. The HR recruitment manager is a member of the NFCC recruitment hub, so is at the forefront of national thinking in terms of attraction, engagement and recruitment. So that work is starting to filter through to the organisation and will impact on our review of the current recruitment strategy. The whole-time recruitment we touched earlier around the social economic duty and attracting applications from females and from BAME communities. And there's an indication there of the numbers as they're at in the last 3 recruitment campaigns. There's one actually coming to a conclusion as we speak, as Alison mentioned earlier, which we haven't fed in down the bottom there. There is, I've noticed a slight anomaly in that top figure of 2016-17, so I'm going to correct that because the first figure, the larger figure of 76, if there were 70 males, there could be 6 females in essence, and the BAME representatives of either male or female. So I need to correct that top line there. But as Alison mentioned, we were attracting 10% in our last recruitment campaign from females. And on this occasion, the campaign we're running at present, we're up at 12%, and we've attracted, I think, near to 5% from individuals of a BAME background, whereby previously it was at about 2.7%, 2.8%. So significant, albeit incremental, increases there. Moving in the right direction, certainly that current campaign that it refers to there, the Be More Than Fire campaign, which you may have even seen on, I think it was on Channel 4. I saw the advert come through as well. So we're looking to use technology, social media as best we can to get to those communities that have been possibly difficult to reach previously. So some of the recent activity and progress down at number 3 there at the bottom, talking about the new online career booklet, online school events. So we are using the online facilities available to us, and they're looking to maintain contact with individuals who may have been unsuccessful in previous recruitment campaigns, and trying to develop them as best we can to give them the best opportunity of becoming a member of this service. So we've certainly had Commit to Be Fit events, if you like, for certainly female applicants who failed previously on the physical tests, trying to encourage them to increase their physical fitness and to give them a better opportunity of succeeding next time around. So the way forward is just to develop a longer term recruitment, attraction, engagement strategy. It's quite an interesting time, as I mentioned earlier. The employment market appears to be significantly skewed at this moment in time. We are putting job adverts out whereby we previously may have received 50 to 60 applications for certain corporate posts in particular, and we're receiving single figures, 10 to 20 possibly. So whether that's a reflection of the number of vacancies that exist in the job market at the moment, I'm not too sure. But we, along with the other 2 fire and rescue services in Wales, are noticing significant changes in the employment market at present. So something for us to keep a close eye on, but to keep striving, if you like, with these positive action events to make sure that the service remains an employer of choice, and that we give everybody within the South Wales community the best opportunity to be a member of our service. And I'll leave it at that, Chair. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, Andrew. Steve?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. As we're now coming out of COVID, are we looking to put on more open engagement days like we previously had, which is a good way of recruitment? Are we looking to do that moving forward now COVID is coming down in the future?
Yes, certainly. We've got a whole time working group that we set up around about 6 months ago, I think, and there was significant involvement of operational personnel on that at station manager and group manager level. And what we are looking to do, there's nobody knows their communities better than the stations out there. So we are going to try and encourage greater participation from the stations to ensure, as I said, that we reach all the corners of South Wales communities. But yes, Councillor Evans, as you say, there's been a drop-off in community safety events with schools not receiving visitors, etc. It's similar to some of the areas we would go for our recruitment as well, and that some of those organisations have restricted, if you like, in the opportunities to go and meet with them. But this is certainly a step forward that we're looking to take to reach out to these communities and the various groups that exist within them.
Okay, Dan? Councillor Norton?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you to the officers. There's obviously really good that there's obviously been positive progress made on recruitment of female firefighters, whole-time firefighters, obviously starting at a very low base, and hopefully it continues to improve. My question's around Welsh language, because obviously you mentioned in the last report, is there any activities around advertising in the medium of Welsh and, you know, maybe even putting recruitment days on potentially in the medium of Welsh to recruit more Welsh language, particularly fluent Welsh language firefighters and whole-time firefighters?
Thank you.
Certainly, Councillor Norton, we're exploring all opportunities available to us, and there are recruitment channels now specifically for Welsh-speaking people, and we've certainly struggled on the odd occasion to fill the posts, certainly in the corporate staff structure, for those posts that are deemed Welsh essential. So we are looking at the opportunities to advertise elsewhere. We tend to advertise in some of the major recruitment houses, such as Indeed, etc. But we are looking at some of these more bespoke recruitment channels, such as those that are strictly for Welsh language, to make sure that our vacancies are seen by as many people as we can. So take on board what you're saying, Councillor Norton, and yes, that's certainly an area we're looking to step up on.
There's usually a Welsh speaker involved in the engagement days in any case, Andrew, isn't there?
Yes.
Just in case people want to access in that medium. So yeah, we're pretty well covered in that sense.
Councillor Ellsbury is indicating to speak.
Do you want me to go in until he can come in, or?
Hello.
I think that.
Yeah, sorry, I lost connection there. I don't know what happened. Perhaps it was me, more than likely. Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for the report. I just want to. I have actually seen a lot of adverts for recruitment on social media, and I'm very impressed with it. My question is around retention, because obviously we get new recruits in, they go through the training and they join our team. What's retention like? Do the new recruits stick around, or is it something that after a couple of months they kind of realise that it's not for them and they leave? What's our retention like?
Certainly, from a whole time perspective, Councillor Ellsbury, people start with us and invariably finish with us 30 years later, 35, 40 years as the increase in pension age. So you will have firefighters who will have served 40 years in the future. But certainly from a whole time perspective, retention has never been an issue. There has been far more significant an issue with on-call recruitment. And there are individuals, so we've got a retained management team that's looking specifically at this. But there is such there are so many reasons why an individual may not be able to remain a member of our on-call cadre, and that could be for a simple reason as moving house and moving outside of the particular area, because they have to respond, as you're aware, within a certain time frame. There are pressures on them in terms of primary employment, whereby the hours of cover that they were once able to provide us with, they no longer can. And as you say, I think there's an element as well, is that they start with us. It's a significant change in people's lifestyle, providing on-call, curtailing perhaps some of their social lifestyle activities. And I think there are individuals that perhaps 6-12 months down the line think, well, it's not quite what I thought it may have been. So it's a combination, and it's an issue that is sort of attracting the attention of services across the UK, certainly in terms of on-call, but in the other areas, as I say, full-time, fire control, and largely the corporate structure as well. Retention isn't an issue, but on-call is. But as I mentioned, it's reflective of a national picture.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I was aware that on-call has been historically an issue, but I'm glad that we are continuing to look at it and to try and keep our staff. But yeah, great. Thank you very much for that.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Councillor Evans, do you want to come back?
Yeah, I only wanted to ask. I know we're advertising to look in recruitment in Wales. Do we get much response from all of Britain, the UK, and not just in Wales? Because sometimes people want to come from up-country to join our service because it's a tremendous success. That's the reason I asked for that.
Do you want to answer?
I mean, yeah, good morning, Councillor. Yeah, so from a training perspective, yeah, we do get quite a diverse group in terms of geography. On the whole-time courses, obviously on-call have got to live in the community, so they reflect the communities and they're from our area. But on the whole-time course, it's not uncommon for us to have 3 or 4 out of 24 who come from Bristol, particularly Avon, that area there, where it's not too far to travel, or for that matter, West Wales, where they're travelling in from West Wales. But yeah, we are an attractive employer, and we do sort of pull people from across the UK. But over the last few years, particularly Mid and West and just over the bridge in Avon, tend to get quite a few from those areas. In fact, there's one on this course now who's was born in Hungary and spent most of his life in Hungary, but as British citizen now and is on the course now. So that would have been too far to travel.
It may be.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Okay.
I think it'd be worth pointing out as well, Councillor Roberts, on that particular item, we've got in the region of 60 to 80 individuals who wish to transfer into the service. So these are individuals who are whole-time firefighters in services outside of South Wales, who wish to transfer into us. And as has been mentioned, we are an attractive employer. And there's that number of individuals from across the UK who wish to transfer into us. So there's a whole list there that's growing by the week. So which is nice to know. We'll hold a process in due course when the time's right to see whether we want to take individuals in on a transferee basis.
Okay, well, that's very interesting and that's pleasing to hear, I must say. Any other member? No? Right, if we could have somebody to note this report, please. Second. Thank you. Item 12, update on the firefighter apprenticeships. Andrew, no, Dean Loader.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members. So it's Brian Thompson here. I'm representing Dean Loaders on a course in England at the moment. So you'll be pleased, so I'm not going to take you line by line through the reports. I'm just going to highlight some key takeaways for you. So on page 112, 1.4, just to let you know that there's 24 candidates on the current whole-time course, so that'll increase our apprenticeship numbers. They are on week 7 of the course, and feedback from the instructors is that it's going very well, and all the candidates are doing extremely well, which is pleasing to know. 2.1, feedback from Cardiff and Vale College. Week 1 of the whole-time course is when we do the apprenticeship and the essential skills, but we're trying to build better relationships with the college. So what we do is we invite members of the college to the pass-out parades. So the last pass-out parade, we're very limited in numbers, and we had one member of the college come in, and they really appreciated that because they're usually involved at the beginning of the process. It's nice for them to see the outcome and the outputs at the other end of it. 2.2 funding and 2.22 at the bottom of the page, 112. We can see the criteria that Welsh Government applied for us to draw down on the apprenticeship levy. So while we may have 24 on a course, if they don't fall within that criteria, then we can't draw funding down for them, although we'll still put them through the qualification, because why would we want all our firefighters to have those essential skills? 223, to date, as a training department, we've generated something in the region of 247k from the apprenticeship levy. So although we've paid out into the levy, as we've got to do, the training department's managed to generate back to date something in the region of 247k, and that's going to grow exponentially as the number of apprentices grows. Just moving on to 2.63, and it ties into the previous conversation with Andrew, that relationship with the college. The college in Cardiff is a real diverse group of students. So because we're underrepresented in certain groups, it's a real sort of area for us to tap into in terms of raising awareness of the fire service as an employer, not just for uniform, but for the corporate side of the organisation as well. So we're building those relationships with college to exploit that. And then finally, the implications. it's about 2 years into the process of the apprenticeship scheme now, so we're really gathering a good evidence base from a training department's perspective. It's the workload. We anticipated the workload would be significant, but probably not as significant as what we anticipated. Just the amount of the bureaucracy involved, the amount of visits that we've got to do. So what we're looking to do is trying to be more efficient in how we deliver our services in the training department, so that we can accommodate this extra workload. But predominantly, the firefighter apprenticeship scheme is a good news story, and I just want to accentuate that. Other than that, I'm happy to take questions from the chair, from members.
Thank you. Steve, you wanted to come in there?
Me again. I've done an apprenticeship when I was younger. It's great. But what actually physical skills will the service give them, and not just, underlying paper skills? That's what I'm trying to work out, or computer skills.
That's good. Thank you, Councillor. So they'll all get the essential skills. So the essential skills Wales package, so numeracy, literacy, ICT, and employability skills. So that's week 1 of the course. The remainder of the course, then, it's all about the technical competence to operate safely as a firefighter. So it's all around predominantly the firefighter role. Thereafter, then, once they finish the apprenticeship scheme, they drop into what Andrew was talking about earlier, the pathways. So they'll really develop their leadership skills. They'll develop their behavioural skills. Once we start that in training school, that will really take place once they finish the apprenticeship and once they move into their career and mainstream.
When I come back in, it's just like,
yes.
The reason I asked that is the old work experience, whether they come in and sample what the service actually does and not just in the classroom. That was the reason I said that.
Any other members? No? If we could note this then, please.
I recommend that, Chair. Yeah.
Second? Thank you. If we could go on to the forward work programme then, we note that. Thank you. And any items from the chairperson? Only that I'm jealous she's out in Dubai.
Councillor Roberts, just to flag one additional item that was forwarded for information last. It's the NJC Brigade Managers Salary Survey of 2020. I just wanted to flag it with you. It's for your information, so it's for members to note. Essentially what it is, it's the Local Government Association issue a survey every year, and it's a capture of brigade manager salaries at a certain point in the year. You will note that the report covers the snapshot as at the 31st of March 2020, so it's a few years behind, but it does give a snapshot of salaries at senior level across brigades in the UK. There's also some gender stats in there and some ethnicity data as well. And as you will know, South Wales Fire and Rescue Service are covered under Population Band 4. So I just wanted to flag that. It's a report for your note, and it's on the Forward Work programme, so it's already on the agenda. But because it came in late, it was too late to sort of formally agendarise it, if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you, Alison. There was one thing I noted on that report, if I might say, and that is the number of officers by age. There's a big drop from 50 to 54 to 55 plus, where they all left retired today, because it's halved basically in numbers.
Yes, that would be the retirement profile across the UK, I would suggest. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's probably a quite a significant issue for FRSs in the UK.
Yeah, it's quite a large drop, isn't it? All of a sudden.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Any other members? No. Well, thank you everybody for attending, and wish you all the best in the elections.
Thank you, Alan. Bye.
Thank you.
Good.
Bye.
Thank